at all. Hello, y'all, and welcome to this week's edition of The Classroom, starring myself, Double K. You know I bring it right here with the Doual, O'Malley, or Swab, depending on the week. So y'all tune in and listen to what this week's hottest debate topics are right here on Four Aces Presents. Hello, y'all, and welcome to this week's edition of First Gen Xers Presents The Classroom. I am the one and only Double K, K Double, and I am here with our host of the week, the one and only basketball mind that is the Duel. What is up, brother?
Hey, what's good with you, man? What's going on?
Not much at all, man. Not much at all. Straight up, it's one of those times a year where it's kind of cool.
Right.
It's a little flavor for everybody. You know, if you like excitement, we got the March Madness tournament. You know, if you even want to watch a form of football, they got the XFL running right now. You know,
Right.
you like basketball, it's coming down to the last 10 games of the season playoff race in the West. Like everybody's within a game and a half of each other. Like you could be in the playoffs today and out the playoffs tomorrow, and it's just that time of year where it's just it makes you feel happy to be a fan of sports in general, let alone any particular team. So let's start off with March Madness, my brother, and the craziness that has been this year's tournament. um, I want to say it's been a long time since the last time I've seen this happen, but so far pretty much, where is it, pretty much every number one, I believe, has been knocked off at this
Right.
point.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the thing about it's, uh, any playoff system for nuts. Right. Sorry about that. I'm trying to. I was trying to get to a clear area. Um. The but like the NBA, you have 6 games, 7 games that you go through within the playoffs, and and football, it's exciting because you only get this one shot. And so what's happening is one season you have a great season, you go into and have a conference tournament, go and you got like I said, you got to be one season. You just may not be just talented or just good. But between a few times, this is very I don't get
Like we don't know what's going. What's
sorry
going
about
on with the
that.
signal.
I'm trying. Yeah, I'm sorry about. I'm trying to area, but like I said, it's the excitement of the one and done.
Yeah,
Just because you're a number one seed doesn't necessarily mean that you're automatically going to make it. Because, like I said, every team is just as hungry as the last one.
yeah, and I think that's something that's special about the NCAA tournament is that we may have only seen two 16 seeds beat two one seeds in the history of the tournament, but the way that college basketball is kind of balanced out now, you're more likely to see more of them coming up in coming years as these lower level D1 teams get better and better and start, and especially with these NIL deals, being able to bring in, stronger players and stronger rosters than they have before.
Right. And then, you also have to take into account that, a lot of these blue chip athletes, 4-star and 5-star recruits, have found out that I don't have to go to a big time college of basketball. I don't have to go to North Carolina or a Duke. I don't have to go
Yeah.
to a powerhouse, basketball program in order to get drafted. Michigan State, Connecticut, something like that. I can go to little tiny over here, small corner Louisiana State University, and shine there. You feel me? And then go pro. So the name and image, like the NIL deals are great. Not only for the player, you know what I'm saying, but also getting that tiny school that recognition because his player is playing so well for that team.
Amen. Amen. Like I try to tell people, like, at some point during the history, sports works in a cycle, no matter where you're at. At some point in history, even if your team is riding high for an extended period of time, eventually they're going to fall. Eventually they're
Right.
going to come back down. That's just rule of thumb of life when it comes to sports. You ride high for a while and then you come down to earth. Now the good teams, your Patriots, your Giants, your Warriors, your Lakers of the 70s and 80s, Celtics of the 60s and 70s were able to sustain those high points for a lot longer. But at some point, they all fell as well. Nothing stays up forever. And I love the parity between the top teams and the bottom teams in the NCAA tournament. That's showing that, like you said, you don't have to go to a Duke in order to get a national team, or in order to be on a team that could potentially win a national championship. You don't have to go to a Kentucky. Matter of fact, I want to say, based on what I'm seeing on the NCAA bracket, none of the what I would call legacy teams are there. So far in the Final
Right.
Four, you got San Diego State, Florida Athletic University, and UConn, and it looks like Texas is going to be the only number two team to make it past the Elite Eight, or two seed to make it past the Elite Eight.
And that's crazy.
Yeah, that's straight up crazy. Like I want to say every year I find myself saying, "Wow, I've never seen a tournament this crazy." Like and shit, we've been around for a while, so we've been seeing quite a few of them tournaments. Uh,
Right.
but recently I find myself just about every year going, "Wow, wow, this is wow." This is something new. And then, like I said, Sandy, of all let's see, UCLA made it into the tournament. Gonzaga made it into the tournament. I want to say St. Mary's did too. But but of all the West Coast teams, did you really think San Diego State was going to be the last one standing in the uh in the Final Four?
Right. No, you wouldn't even think about it. Now with the teams you just named, Gonzaga, powerhouse, UCLA, historic basketball program, St. Mary's,
Yep.
consistently always at the top of their program and their division. So if you wouldn't say San Diego State, you think, okay, cool, Kawhi Leonard. But everything else after that is not. You don't really have a, a true understanding or true knowledge of that program or its history. So to see them to be able to create history, to be able to create, a place for their team, that's special. I like special.
To me, it's similar, and all three of these teams that have made it before remind me of that run that Davidson had with Curry. I always go back to that because to me, like I know there's been better runs, but to me, maybe because I'm a Steph Curry fan, that's one of the
Right.
best runs that I've seen from a lower level squad in a good long while. Other than there was a Green Bay or Wisconsin Green Bay, I think was the name of the school, or Green
Right.
Bay something, that they had a run that was very memorable. But
Don't forget George Mason a few years
yeah,
ago.
yeah,
They had I think like two good runs in two back to back years where they went deeper than what people thought they were supposed to do.
yeah, very true, very true. But Yeah, so let's just keep it because evidently we gonna have a. I to be honest with you, here's how out of touch I've been with NCAA recently. I don't remember who won the national title last year.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure. I can't even quite remember. I'd have to look
Like,
it up.
but
I'd
all
have
I
to look
know
it
is
up.
whoever it
Right.
is, they probably ain't in the Final Four this year.
Right. Right.
The odds are
Right.
that they are not in the Final Four this year. Um, so all right, so let's switch from that. We're gonna switch before we switch to the big boys and the NBA. We're gonna go ahead and take a pit stop right quick in NFLville. So I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions right here about what's been going on in this NFL free agency, and what do you think of it? Now, first of all, of course, we're always gonna start off with Lamar Jackson. See, everybody, I can guarantee you right there, all y'all thought I was gonna say Aaron Rodgers. No, fuck that nigga. Like, fuck him. Like, I'm tired. We will talk about him before this segment is over, but for right now, fuck him. I'm tired of talking about Aaron Rodgers. I want to know your thoughts on the Lamar Jackson situation and how some are even calling it collusion, where basically the Ravens owner made sure that there was no market out there for Lamar before they put this non-exclusive franchise tag on him. And there's rumors that yeah, now they're supposedly working on a contract, but that initially Lamar wanted to try to find his way to elsewhere. So, what are your thoughts on A, how Lamar has handled this, and B, how how the Ravens have handled this with using the non-exclusive tag to basically force any team that wanted to sign him as a restricted free agent to give up two first-round draft picks?
Um, it's interesting. Well, to answer the question, he's been professional about it. He's handled it like a professional, and has really, maintained just his air confidence level professionalism that you respect. Um, as far as collusion or anything else like that, then I don't. It happens. It's rampant.
Yeah, definitely.
It happens, and it's we're not let's not be blind. Deaf or dumb to what the league is, the history of this country or any of that. It's racism. It's corporate politics. People play mind games. They like to play human chess. You feel me? And so I'm not surprised, or I wouldn't doubt if there was, like you said, a collusion or some act to kind of keep him, or to make sure there's no market for him, so that he becomes cheaper and all this other stuff. It happens. Like that's life. That's people. That's the era and the generations in which we're dealing with it. This is what they do. So I'm not surprised, but I appreciate his level of professionalism, and because he knows. Like, I mean, there aren't too many quarterbacks better than him right now, and he's still got a lot of growth to do himself. He's still got a long way still in terms of getting better, but there aren't many that are better than him right now in the league. So, no matter what happens, at the end of the day, he's put himself in a great position because his play speaks for itself, and his play is going to demand him top dollar wherever he goes.
For sure. And so that's one part of this whole situation. Second is let's talk a little bit about what went on over in Vegas. Um, Derek Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo, Derek Carr. Um, I think that I'll be honest. I said it when we were talking about it with Suave, and I'm gonna say this as a fan of Jimmy because, like I said, he led my Niners to a bunch of wins when he was in our organization in that organization for the past 5 years. Jimmy Garoppolo is what you get when you want Derek Carr, but the only app you got is Wish. There, I said it. Like I see where they're going with it because he has run in McDaniel's system, but I would like to hear your thoughts on Jimmy Garoppolo moving from San Francisco or Santa Clara to Las Vegas this offseason.
Well, that type of thing I really have no thoughts on it, no opinion. These players like cattle, they're gonna move here, there, everywhere. You know what I'm saying? There's always player movement unless you're Jerry Rice, which you just decide to leave later on in your career, or Joe Montana, and even the great ones have changed teams. So I'm not surprised about it. Here's what you really got to understand, right? You got to look at who's there doing what, making what moves, right? So the Raiders hired Josh Daniels to come in. He's already been a head coach in Denver. He's been a long-time assistant with the Patriots, and he knows their winning ways and so on and so forth. So you're going to bring in Josh McDaniel, who's now on his second term as a head coach, right? And you can't really call the first try a failure, because the learning curve is so steep, and the margin of error and the seat is so hot for coaches everywhere that one unsuccessful season and that's it. You can win a Super Bowl this year, next year have 5 wins and be fired. So there's really no patience anymore. It's what have you done for me lately? So I wouldn't really call his first run a failure. It was a learning experience. Could it have been better? Yeah. Is there things that he could have done differently to maybe, have a better program at the time or even had a longer run? Of course. But that was his first run. So in his second run, a lot of people are going to look at that. I look at it as a learning experience. I look at it as, the process, what he had to go through in order to, become a better coach and get better. A lot of other people are going to look at it as a failure. He didn't go to the playoffs. He didn't win a Super Bowl. He didn't do this, that, or whatever. And look at what he didn't do, as opposed to his growth and the things that he was able to do in order to, get better. So with that in mind, he's going to go into this second, trial with the idea, I'm not going to fail. If you're going to give me the keys to the kingdom, then I'm going to do everything it is that I need to do to make sure, right, that I'm successful, right? So with that being said, Josh McDaniels, he's a system guy. He's been in that Patriot system for umpteen amount of years. 20, however long they've been successful, he's been in that system. He knows that system. He is that system. It's a part of him. So wherever he goes, he's going to want to run that system. Why? Because it was successful. Why? Because that's what he knows. Why? Because that's how he grew up. This is successful football to him. And it's not that David Carr was not a successful quarterback. David Carr doesn't know how to run his system. It was evident on the field. I mean, if you're not producing wins and you're not producing points, what's the problem? The problem is obviously between the coach and the quarterback, right? Coach has this in mind. Quarterback is doing something else. Those two guys have to be on the same page. And if they're not on the same page, you're not going to have a successful season and you're not going to have a successful what? System. So what does Josh McDaniels go and do? He goes and he gets a quarterback that knows what? His system. Because in this next year, you could call his first year a failure if you want. I mean, again, learning experience. You got a team that's constantly on the revolving and the swinging door of things. And you don't know if they're growing or if they're moving forward or if they're that, right? So he has to go into this year too thinking, okay, I have to be successful this year or they're going to fire me. They're going to call me a 2-year failure and they're going to fire me. So what does he do? He goes and gets a quarterback that knows his system. Now, is that smart? Yes, but it's also a high pressure move because now you have to be successful. Because, like you said, for all those reasons, you got Jimmy Garoppolo, who knows your system. He went to San Francisco, took him to the playoffs, almost led him to a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? So now you got all this pressure on you to be successful. And the fortunate part of that is a Super Bowl appearance isn't necessarily considered just getting to the playoffs. Just being above 500 at this point, you know what I'm saying, would be successful for him. So, in order to do that, he went and got somebody that he knows, that he thinks he can believe in. And I think it was a good idea. It was a smart move. But either way, it is what it is.
All right, said very to the point and truthfully by the duel as always. We're gonna go on ahead and take that commercial break or podcast promo break right quick, and then when we come back, we will be talking Los Angeles Lakers in the NBA season. Thanks for listening in. The First Gen Xers presents the Classroom this week with the duel. Peace. Imagine this. It's Friday night. You're at home wishing you can listen to an amazing playlist of some of your favorite music from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Pop, rock, whatever. Then take out your favorite podcast listening device and tune in to KD5P, otherwise known as K-Double's Fifth Period Music Class. Every Friday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, K-Double brings you some of your favorite tunes live on the Four Aces Presents Radio Network on Live 365. Hey guys and gals, this is Double KK Double. What if I told you there was a show where you could listen to two avid fans talk pro wrestling, movies, and comics? Well, there is, and it's called the Cheap Pop Podcast with K Double and Alpha, and it's on every Sunday night at 5 p.m. on the Four Aces Presents Radio Network, Spreaker.com. All right, and I'm back. We'll be bringing Duel back in just a moment. Well, while waiting to bring him back, I'm gonna let y'all know right now to tune in to it should be Warriors in Minnesota tonight. This will be the closest that the team has come to being at full strength. Andrew Wiggins being the only missing member at this point, and GP2 back in the fold. So the defense should be a little bit better, and this Warriors team should be able to do some things. They done won three straight, beat some teams that maybe they shouldn't have, like the Sixers. But they got much needed W's to stay out of the play-in for right now, and we'll see how the rest of the season plays out. Dude, you ready, or you still need a little bit more time? All right. Looks like we got a couple more minutes. So yeah. So while I got y'all ear, let me tell y'all, listen, check us out over on Twitch, twitch.tv/ First Gen Xers. Myself and the Saint playing games sometimes against each other, sometimes against the computer and having fun, debuting games. You might see some WWE 2K23, some NBA 2K23, Golf 23. What else? Legend of Dragoon every Saturday. Catch me sometime during the day, throughout the day, playing the next stage of that game. Gonna try to work my way through it and beat it. What else? Shaolin versus Wu Tang gets played a lot. Street Fighter, Killer Instinct gets played. Um, we try to give you a variety of looks at a variety of different games, but they're all fun. And check me out for Madden Mondays. Follow the career of Damian Dangerous, and NBA Wednesdays to follow the career of Damian Dangerously, or to watch me lose another game with the Golden State Warriors. Uh, um, what else? Yes, sir. uh, let's see what else. And oh, you can also catch us over on Live 365. We constantly have shows going over there. I also have a live show, K Dibble's fifth period music class that plays every Saturday. We got the Saint going here, um, at least once a week. Normally on Sundays, I believe, but sometimes on Tuesdays. Mr. Dangerfield, that's right. uh, let's see, and we got Brick running shows over here. Um, we got, let's see, I believe Mr. Deacon has recently aired a show here as well. And we have, dang it, let's see. There it is, there it is, there it is. Nope, no, there's got to be another. Come on. Okay. Nope. Okay. So there's another show that comes on Friday nights. I just can't remember. BTE West Radio. Thank you, Saint. That comes on here Friday night. You can catch all those shows on Live 360 or on Spreaker.com. You can catch the show KD5P and replays of this show on on Live 365 as well. Duel, you back with us?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. All right. So, welcome back, sir. Welcome back. All right.
Indeed.
So let's talk a little bit about the Lakers. It was a good news, bad news kind of day for them today, as they got the good news that they got back LeBron James, and unfortunately promptly lost to the Bulls by 10 points. Um, so as a fan, what are your thoughts on the impact of LeBron James on this Lakers squad in this season?
mm,
Do you think having him come in, like I said, he's one of the best players in the league. Period. If top five easy. Could him
um,
coming back hurt their chances of being able to make a deep run in the playoffs? I know that sounds silly, but it's a question you got to ask.
no, no, because I mean the only way that happens, he hurts their chances, is if he's turning the ball over, you know, not competing, not putting in and not keep holding up his end of the bargain in terms of numbers, leadership, and so on and so forth. Um, Everyone has to play with each other, right? So whether you feel me, and it's the coach's job to figure out how is that going to work, right? And then behind that, everyone else has to buy in. So as a head coach, the first thing you have to do is find a formula for success. And I think that is something for the Lakers that's coming along, right? I don't think the formula has been perfected yet. I think there's a formula there. I think there's a vision and a goal, right? I think there's something that, definitely that wants to be accomplished, but it hasn't been perfected yet, and it's going to take time. It's getting there, because you look at the way the Lakers have played this year, it's been up and down, shaky, and back and forth. You know, couple of good games, lose a couple of tight games. You know, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that the West is an incredible, probably the toughest it's ever been. You know, in a long time. You got teams like Denver and Memphis and I believe Sacramento and Minnesota. We're not used to seeing these teams at the top.
Very true.
All
I
right.
want to say that.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to say there's 3.5 games that separate the number 4 Phoenix Suns from the number 11 Dallas Mavericks.
Right. 4 games from 4 to 11. Right. That's not a lot of games. And there's 10 games left in the season. So that means Phoenix can go 0-4 right now. Dallas can go 4-0, right? They can literally flip, and now Kevin Durant has just wasted another year in Phoenix. Literally. It could happen like that. It's incredibly tight. So, that being said, you know, back to the Lakers, we'll see. You know, here's the good news. They're still that team, you know, everyone's talking about. They're still that team. So how you going? Oh, yes, it's closed. Yeah, they got, yeah. So, they're still that team that people are looking to and talking about. That's a good thing. They're still, LeBron is still that guy. You know, so we're all anxious, and we're all interested. Like, what's going to happen? Are they going to, you know what I'm saying? And either way, you can cheer them on for being successful, or you can laugh at them for being failures. But either way it goes, it's really 50-50, you know? And again, that's just been the Lakers season. You know, a lot of players in and out the lineup, you know, they just now got to 500, and then lost that 500 today, so I'm excited to see what's going to happen for them. I'm excited to see, you know, how they grow and they build and they play around LeBron. But I can't really just say, like, you know, I'm just not that guy. I'm not going to point the finger at just one person, you know, as a whole. And, you know, you feel me, or just one or two guys. So him coming back, yeah, you know, maybe the team was a little out of rhythm, you know, because he had missed so many games. But LeBron James is a player that you need. Even at 19 years in, even at 20 years into the season, he's still a player that you need. And you got to have going into the playoffs if you want to have a chance at being successful.
For sure. Very well put. There's nothing you really said that I can disagree with at this point. Like you're very. That's one of the things that we've always respected about Doual. He's very realistic in his expectations for whatever team he's talking about. Unlike some of these fans in these groups that just don't even get me started. I need to get out them groups. Anyway, so let's close it by talking about one of your favorite teams that just may have gotten done beating one of my favorite teams today, and that is the San Francisco Giants, who today are in Oakland playing the Oakland Athletics. Do you have high hopes for this season? I know last year was kind of a bumpy ride for the Giants. Was for the A's as well. But what do you see? Which, by the way, the Giants are up 9-3 right now in the top of the eighth. What do you see for that squad this year?
Well, yeah, I can say I got some high hopes. They've classically been a bounce back team. You don't really see them having just 2 bad years in a row. I don't really want to say last year was a bad year. It's just, you know, just wasn't a good one. That's all. But the one thing I do like is the consistency that they have in terms of their staff. You know, bringing back Crawford and Belt, you know, and some of the other guys. So yeah, there's definitely some high hopes. There's definitely I'm excited to see what's going to happen with them this year, and you know, and see if they can compete. But you know, at this point, it's still spring training, right? Preseason baseball. Yeah, so Yeah, he was
Season starts on the 30th. That's opening day.
okay. Yeah, right, right. So yeah, we'll see in about in March, April, about June. Then we'll have some kind of lock. But I don't like going into the season and trying to make guesses or so on and so forth. I need to see how teams playing and their chemistry. And I think the Giants will have a good chemistry this year and a good some good talent, be able to put up some wins just based on the fact that they're consistent in the staff that they're bringing back.
Very true. The past couple of years they were big players in free agency. This year, not so much. They almost signed who was the it was the shortstop, right? That they almost signed. Dude ended up signing back with Minnesota. He signed with the Giants and then failed the physical, and then he signed with somebody else and failed the physical, and then landed back with Minnesota.
Um, was it out? It wasn't out too bad. I thought it was.
No,
I can't remember. I
I
think I know.
can't remember his
I
name.
got. I can't remember exactly. Yeah.
No, no, yeah, no, I can't remember either. Like the guy's name is escaping me right now, but I know the Giants tried because they were trying to sign him to like a 10-year, like or 12-year, $300+ million contract. And I gotta say something really off to the side right now. I believe that athletes should get paid as much as they can get paid because of what they do, how hard they play, and the fact that literally like they do this for our entertainment, and the owners are making billions of dollars. But holy fucking shit, really? Like 14 years, like almost $400 million. Like basically, if dude saves every dime from that contract, he'll have enough to damn near buy a team, or at
Basically,
least
yeah.
put in to be a part of a group that buys a team. I'm like, good lord, man, what happened to signing somebody for like 3 years? You don't know. In the next 13 years, that dude could become complete and utter garbage.
Right.
And then you stuck with him, paying him 30 million a year, because we all know most of these contracts are backloaded, so they get paid little early and then a lot late, unless you're Albert Pujols, which I believe his big contract he signed it to where he got paid big money early, and then later he wasn't as much of a strain on the on the cap, but the baseball don't got a cap, so but he wasn't as big a chunk of the whatchamacallit, so they were able to pay other players to stay, etc. Like Mike Trout, his contract with the Angels. But in general, like I'm like, good lord, man. Like I said, I understand 3-year contract, 4-year contract. I understand 5, 6, 7-year contracts. But beyond 7, you lost me. 7 only
Right.
goes for if you're young and just coming in the league. Like if it's your first big contract, you still like 21, 22, it's your first big contract, then yeah, lock them up for 7 years. But when these dudes are 34, 35, and you locking them up for 12 years, like what? But anyway, sorry, man. Yeah, I got off on a side tangent on that. But yeah, that shit
No,
annoys
no
me.
problem. I feel you. That's a lot of money. That's a whole lot of money.
Said I can't fault them. Mama always taught me don't count another man's money. Don't be in another man's
Right.
pocket. So I'm
Right.
not. But to me, it's just like it just doesn't make from an owner standpoint. It doesn't make logical sense. Like I said, unless you wrapping up a young kid, a 23, 24-year-old kid that still got a lot of years ahead of him, cool. Lock him up for 10, 12 years. Make him that franchise player. But other than that, like really, and everybody getting these contracts 7, 10, 13 years. It was like this in hockey for a little bit and then it stopped.
Right.
Like I remember that a few years back, a couple of dudes signed like 12-year deals, and then like owners was like, nah, we good. I think the same thing will happen with baseball. I think eventually it'll get to a point where owners are like, nah, we need to cut this down. We need to keep this down to like 5, 6 years at a time. So we have a chance to reevaluate without being committed to another 7 years with your ass.
Right.
You know. But all that being said, that's gonna go on ahead and wrap it up for us this week. Duel will probably see you again. I think next week should be Suave. And then the week after that. So but you'll be back in 3 weeks. By that point,
Indeed.
huh?
Indeed.
Yeah, and by that point, basketball playoffs will be in full swing, beginning of the baseball season. So hopefully, we'll have a lot more to talk about, and hopefully, we'll be talking about Lakers and Warriors in the playoffs. I wouldn't mind seeing that matchup. Who knows who'll win?
It would be
So,
nice.
or hell, I'll even take Warriors Clippers. But in general, thanks to everybody listening, including the Saint. Sup, brother? Uh, Listening in today. Hope you guys enjoyed what you heard. Catch me next week when hopefully we'll be back with the Suave, with Mr. Suave, and we'll be talking more basketball, baseball, and March Madness. We'll have a national champion crown by then. Till later, y'all. Peace.